Today I'm in Silverton, a village in the county of Devon in the UK. This is the parish church. The tower in front of you dates to around 1450, and the church building itself behind is a little newer than that. You can see on the left the round turret, which is the staircase to get to the top. We're going to walk around the graveyard and see what gems we can find in here. Just inside the main entrance, the first stone I come to is to Thomas Taylor, for many years thatcher in this parish, and he died in 1859. There is a large table tomb here, but the inscriptions are very difficult to make out. There is a large plot here which is containing two graves, or two stone memorials, and the surname is Bater, B-A-T-E-R. William Upham, 1861, and of Elizabeth, his wife, who died at Halifax, Nova Scotia in 1864. And alongside it is another stone to the Uphams, but a little more difficult to read with all the lichen on it. Stone here to the Heyms, John and Mary. John lived to be 94, and Mary, his wife, 1906. Beneath that is their daughter and her husband. At the foot of the tower is a big table tomb, Thomas Langford Brown, 1855. Here is the remains of an old preaching cross. There would have been a large stone cross on top of these three layers, and this is where the outdoor services would be held. Often there were such large congregations that the services would have been held in the open air, and the preacher would have stood on this preaching cross to deliver his sermon. Unfortunately, this one has been damaged and the top part is missing. I've just popped inside the church as the door was open. They've just finished a baptismal service and it's absolutely full of scaffolding, and the lady there was telling me and showing me that they've been repairing the internal ceiling and have uncovered a medieval roof to this section of the church. That's absolutely amazing. It looks really intricate and something that would be amazing to see if they can raise the money to keep it uncovered. So the body of the church is a lot older than we expected. It's medieval. Well, there's a lot of really nice memorial stones here, but they are covered with a lot of lichen, and it's making the inscriptions very difficult to read. There's one here in slate, which the lichen doesn't like at all, so it's very easy to read. It's Herbert Hewins, late 1st Dragoon Guards, son of Emma Hewins, and died aged 21 in 1895. Quite sure why his father's not mentioned on there. I'll show this one because it is readable. This is James Aldridge, and Jane, the beloved wife of the above, and then John Aldridge at the bottom. Another one that's readable. This is Susanna, the wife of Daniel Elston, 1898, and then Daniel, who died 1907. There's another one here in black stone. This doesn't look quite like slate, but again, it's not attracting lichen, and therefore it's readable. Elizabeth Marsh, 1941, aged 65 years. There's one here to Leonard Shiras Mackey, 1893-1913, so he was 20 And given 1913 as the date of his death, you wonder whether he was a war victim. Next to it is Frank Heyman Jennings, who fell asleep 1894, aged 4 years and 6 months. Well, there's a little more information on this than usual. This is Thomas Mackey, Great Western Estate Salon, who died at the Clifton Hotel in London, 1898, aged 55. And then at the bottom, Jane, his wife, who died at London, 1914. Eliza, the youngest daughter of John and Elizabeth Williams, late of Hartland and Ilfracombe. Here's one where the design at the top is a little different from the normal cross. Grave here for some members of the Hedgeland family. On this side we have Charles Hedgeland of St Leonard in Devon, who died in 1880. One here to one of the rectors of this parish. At the bottom here it's Henry Fox Strangeways, 28 years their rector, who died in 1894. And underneath it looks like his wife, Charlotte Chester Fox Strangeways. One stone here, teetering over, William Radford, who died at Silverton Park, 1875. And next door is another William Radford of Silverton Park, and that's 1874. So they're a year apart. And adjoining those two, again at a crazy angle, is John Radford, who died at Silverton Park in 1869, aged 22 years. Never ceases to amaze me as I move around these parishes, these country parishes in Devon, at the majesty and the age of these churches. This one here is something near 600 years old, between 500 and 600 years old, and there's been a church on this site probably for 1,000 years. The history here is just immense. Like all of these country parishes, there were men who gave their lives in the two wars. The ones that are buried here in this churchyard are those that died in this country. This is Flight Sergeant C.G. Cudahy, Royal Air Force, 1945, age 45. And this one is from the First World War. Private W.J. Kenshall, Hampshire Regiment, 1918, age 18. And we have to remember that these are the memorials to those people that died in this country. Those that gave their lives and died on the battlefield in Belgium and France are commemorated out there. We've got one here with an angel in front of the cross, and this stone memorial is dedicated to William Coles. There's a large stone here lying flat, and it would have had a crest at the top, but that's more or less disappeared. And the name is to Henry Langford Brown. Now we had that name on one of the big table tombs at the front, and he was of Coombe Satchfield in this parish. Just to the right of this path, as we came in, we have the more modern graves, or memorials anyway. They won't have been buried here. Most of these, I imagine, would have been cremated. But it's lovely to see how so many of them have got flowers on. They're remembered. One here that stands alone in the graveyard, but the only inscription is on the end here, and it says it was erected by his affectionate wife. Well, I wish I could show you more of the stones in this graveyard. It is really a peaceful and magical place. Unfortunately, they are covered with a lot of lichen, which makes them look very picturesque, but makes the inscriptions very difficult to read. But if you like graveyards, you like history, you like these really old places, then Silverton, put it on your list to come and see. It's a lovely little country parish churchyard in Devon. Till the next time.